What's going on, everybody? John Impemba here, Andrew Cooper. This is the Fantasy Alarm NFL Week 7 game day live stream. Coop, Week 7 here. We called it the Bye-Apocalypse all season long. A bunch of big names out of the lineup today due to bye weeks. We have the primetime games, of course, to worry about for those playing DFS, shortening the player pool. It's going to be a pretty interesting day of games. A lot of people with some start-sit questions we got to figure out because of all these star players that are out of the lineup. But, before we jump into all, man, how we been, man?
I'm good, buddy. I mean, dude, the Bye-Apocalypse is getting even crazier now with all these guys that are game time decisions. We have the what I've been told is a Pineapple Express weather system coming in on the Sunday night game, right? Colts 49ers. So you don't even have a lot of times with these the injuries and stuff, you can at least bank on maybe there being a good night game where you could grab somebody off waivers and sneak them in. We don't even have that. So, just a brutal setup this week. So we got our work cut out for us, buddy.
Yeah, we do have our work cut out for us. And everybody who's watching this live, whether it be on Discord, whether it be on Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, make sure you get into our Discord. Go to the live stream QA channel, both in DFS Alarm and the Fantasy Alarm Discord. If you want your answers, questions here live on stream, you go in there, you plug them in, and Coop and I will get your start-sit questions answered for you. Because I know, again, you guys got a lot of questions to get to. Coop, I mean, do you have the bye week teams in front of you? Do you want to rattle off just some of the big names that we're missing? I mean, I know just off the top of my head, as somebody who has Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott in a lot of different places, we have the Vikings and Cowboys on bye this week. But who else are we looking at this week?
Yeah, man. So we have three of the highest powered offenses on bye with the Buffalo Bills, Dallas Cowboys, Los Angeles Chargers, right? And then, of course, you have the Jaguars, the Vikings, and the Steelers out as well. So, right off the bat, if you're a tight end guy like I am, and you've been using the waiver wire to find tight ends and you kind of saved yourself that way, well, you're missing Dawson Knox, you're missing Dalton Schultz, right. Dan Arnold.
I like that you include Dan Arnold there now because
I include Arnold. Yeah, you know what? In that situation he's in now, where they want to use the tight end a ton. I know last game he didn't really get a ton of usage, but from what we've seen in other games from much lesser tight ends, they've been rolled out like Travis Kelce, red carpet style. So right. Arnold has some upside, when he's off by. Jared Cook is another one. Tyler Conklin. I mean, it's crazy. So, and that's just the tight ends. It's right. Obviously you got all the Steelers wide receivers, all the Bills wide receivers, all the Cowboys wide receivers, Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. Like, it is a nightmare week. So
yeah, it's definitely a nightmare week. And like you mentioned, you add into the fact that there's some weather potential impacting some of the games today. We're getting into the fall, we're getting into the winter. We're getting more wind, we're getting colder. I know some places are even starting to get snow. So, I mean, it's going to start getting a little bit sloppier as we move forward towards the season here. Let's just jump into it already, Coop, because, again, our QA session's already filling up. I don't want to waste too much time getting these answers in. We only got an hour. So we'll be here, of course, as inactives come out. We'll be able to hit on some of the guys that are going to play, aren't going to play. I know we've already had some big names potentially, showing up on the injury report. Darren Waller was one that popped up yesterday. Again, you're limiting already the tight end position, and now one of the big boys are out potentially.
Yeah. Before we dive right in, maybe we should rattle off just a couple of these injured guys so that people out there, if you're watching and you weren't aware that these guys might be game time decisions, then you get some questions in on them. Darren Waller said he doesn't feel great today. He's playing at 4:05, meaning you kind of have to make a decision on a 1 o'clock guy, or we can give you some options for some guys at the 4:25 games. For instance, I like Cole Kmet. If you if you're in a spot, Cole Kmet or even Cameron Brate. I don't really love OJ Howard because he's not playing as many snaps. I know I saw Sterling Shepard might be a game time decision, as with Darius Slayton. I mean, Shepard is a guy you got to play him if he's playing. He's getting these crazy 10+ target games, but at the same time,
Slayton is expected to play per Schefter. Him, Evan Ingram, John Ross, all expected to play. Shepard is going to be a pregame warm-up decision. Basically, he's going to go out. He's going to test the hamstring, and then we'll see where we go from there. I actually like Slayton a lot today. If he's going to be the only guy that's available pretty much for Jones to throw the football to downfield, that's kind of his forte. Maybe we'll finally get some Evan Ingram production this week. Can only cross our fingers there, Coop. But, I mean, that's the Giants situation. I mean, they already ruled out Barkley, so Booker's going to be the guy to roll up there. If you can trust Daniel Jones at home against the Panthers. Slayton, as long as he can stay out there, I mean, he can give it a go, and the hamstring pulls, and then he's out again. Certainly somebody to take a look at here. You got Allen Robinson still questionable, going into a tough matchup here against the Bucs. I know I say tough matchup. We know that the Bucs secondary has been trash, but I was looking it up today. The Bears have only scored 11 total touchdowns this season, and Tom Brady has thrown 14 passing touchdowns at home. So there's a little bit of an offensive discrepancy between these two ball clubs going on in there today. So
I'd say, yeah,
exactly. So you got that. We got other guys that are questionable. We're going to play. We know Hill, Travis Kelce, Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, Dallas Goedert got activated off the IL for COVID. Damian Williams got activated off the IL today. So Khalil Herbert will be a little bit more in a timeshare. Chase Edmonds, Sony Michel, DeAndre Swift is going to be good to go. We know Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be starting this week. So at least that's some of the questionable names we had going into today that are going to be active. And like I said, we'll give you all the inactives as they come out. Our producer Matt Sells is in our ear. If anything crazy breaks, I'm sure we'll be there to let you guys know. And of course, be in the Discord. We got our guys like Dan Malin and Justin Reeland and James Grande, and everybody's in there answering some questions. And if you want Coop and I, like I said, to answer your questions live, go to the live stream QA channel right now, plug him in there, because we're going to get this baby going right now. So Coop, we'll start it off. Kay Jarvis wants to know he needs a quarterback fill-in. Does he go Sam Darnold this week, or does he go Ryan Tannehill?
So for me, that one's an easy one. I'm going Ryan Tannehill. One of the biggest indicators, honestly, for quarterback floor is the over/under in the game, and this one has one of the highest ones of the entire season, as far as I know. Last I checked, it was 57.5. John, is that still the case with this one? Massive.
Yeah,
over-under?
I think it was pretty high. We had 57.5, 4.5 point spread.
Right, only 4.5 point spread. That means that implies the implied line where you kind of take the two numbers and separate them. That the Titans are going to score minimum 3 touchdowns. So I like Tannehill a lot this week.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with you there. Full point PPR. This one is going to have that Pineapple Express effect maybe in play, but it could be a positive one. Eli Mitchell, ground game for the 49ers, or Antonio Gibson and his shin splints there going up against the Packers.
Yeah, man, I like Eli Mitchell. I mean, there is the risk with Jermichael Hasty coming back, but I would much rather go with Eli Mitchell versus Jermichael Hasty than Antonio Gibson with a broken shin versus J.D. McKissick, especially in a game where they're not favored. Those have been the games where J.D. McKissick has kind of came in, contributed in the past game. Essentially, it's been every other game Antonio Gibson or McKissick is the top scoring PPR back. If you go through literally bing, bang, boom, every other one all the way down. And, I just don't really trust that. Elijah Mitchell, he's playing a full snap share. And, I don't think they're going to just turn around and give the whole thing to Jermichael Hasty. I don't see why they would do that. So, yeah, I like Eli.
Yeah, you're probably going to go the Eli Mitchell route there as well, especially when you think Washington's going to have to play from behind. They're 8.5 point underdogs in this game against Green Bay. So, Gibson could be a bit limited today. Money Tastes Bad wants to know, should I pick up Cameron Brate or OJ Howard as my backup plan in case Darren Waller doesn't play? And even if Waller does play, should he start one of the Tampa Bay tight ends over him anyways?
When you said money tastes bad, I immediately, my brain thought of that smell you get when you hold like coins in your hand for too long. Ugh,
yeah,
dude,
a bunch of pennies,
Right, but if it's a big enough bill, then it tastes good. So, so for me, I'm actually of those guys. So at the 4 o'clock group, if possible, I would go with Cole Kmet. I know he hasn't produced from a box score standpoint, but if you really think about it, he's had 24 targets and they've only thrown 149 times. Right, that's actually a 16% target share. If you look at like the team they're playing, the Buccaneers, they've thrown 270 times. Antonio Brown, who's one of the best wide receivers in the league right now in fantasy, only has a 15% target share. So in a game where, the defense they're playing is crushing the run, they have to throw. I actually really like Kmet a lot this week. So I would rank those guys, Kmet, Brate, then I would actually rank them Kmet, Waller, Brate, Howard, unless they come out at 4 o'clock and say Darren Waller is absolutely fine. He's good to go.
You have to play Waller if he's active, right?
Yeah.
You're not fading that situation. So if Cole Kmet is available in your league to pick up, play him over Brate and Howard. If he's not, you're playing Brate over Howard. Is that how we're going with this one?
I'm Brate over Howard just because Brate has run more routes than Howard in every single game they've played so far, including last week. You don't want to chase random touchdowns like that.
Right. All right, so play Braid over Howard, play Waller over both, and if Komet's available and Waller's out, play Komet over the other two. So we're going to go in that direction. We got a few questions here from our guy Home Run. He wants to know Pittman or Higgins in a full PPR.
I mean, I'm going Higgins, right? Like Pittman's in the rain
the
game.
weather's going to be as bad as it is. They can't be throwing the football, I would imagine. So, I mean, Higgins it's been disappointing. You know, he had those touchdowns early on. Lately, you know, he's just been having some problems with drops. I think that's really what the bigger issue is. On DraftKings, he's down to $4,900, which is like a bargain. But yeah, you're gonna have to go Higgins, expecting the weather there. J.D. McKissick or Josh Jacobs in a full PPR.
You know, I still, once again, you know, it's so hard to try because the thing with the Packers that makes it such a weird matchup is they're not very good versus the run either. So the game could go either way, where Washington just runs a ton, or if they're losing, they just throw a ton. So I actually trust Josh Jacobs here. Kenyon Drake is not. I know he scored 2 touchdowns, but he played like
12 snaps. I think it was
12 snaps. Yeah. So you know, I like Jacobs there. I mean, he's the safer play for sure.
Yeah. And he wants to know: would you play Ricky Seals-Jones at tight end in case Waller doesn't play later on? I mean, yeah, you can't risk a zero. So, and it's not like Ricky Seals-Jones is in a bad spot. He's played 100% of the snaps every game, and you're expecting Washington to play from behind. I know that you actually told me last night, Green Bay, they have that linebacker there from Arizona, right? Who came over this offseason, who covers tight ends well. Is that a concern for you at RSJ today?
Yeah, so Devondre Campbell. So not only Devondre Campbell is currently graded out as the number 1 linebacker at any linebacker position on Pro Football Focus, but basically the Cardinals were the very worst team versus the tight end in the league in 2019. They went and got Campbell from the Falcons as like a hired gun, and they went from very last to the 6th best, right? They let him go. They had him on a 1-year deal, paid him $8 million. They let him go because they have Isaiah Simmons. They kind of had 2 of those assets, but otherwise they probably would have kept him. Now he goes to the Packers. What I would do if possible is I would, you know, I know it's kind of tough, but Ricky Seals-Jones kind of is an expiring asset with, Logan Thomas coming back. If possible, maybe swap him out for Cole Kmet and play the game that we're playing, where we say, okay, if Waller's playing, we start Waller. If he's not, Cole Kmet's game starts actually 20 minutes later than Waller's. So you have the option to swap there. Whereas at the 1 o'clock game, you don't. You know, it might be getting a little too cute.
I'm holding out hope with this Tampa Bay game because it's supposed to rain in the later afternoon. It's going to be mostly cloudy from like noon to 3, and then the rain starts. So I'm hoping that system holds out. We can stay dry in Tampa Bay and let Tom Brady and I guess the Bears passing offense do their thing. I'm pretty invested on the Brady side this week in DFS, especially without Antonio Brown. It just it consolidates that target share a little bit better. You kind of know where the football is going. So I mean, listen, to just answer the question blankly, like you don't want to take a zero. If there's any risk with Darren Waller not playing today, you have to play Ricky Seals-Jones. And if Waller plays, then, oh, well, but you can't hold out, miss out on RSJ. Nobody's going to be available to pick up at that point because games have already started. And then you have it, you eat a zero. So it's tough with the way these games are being broken down today. You hope you get word on Waller, but I hate the late injury report designation for him. So play Ricky Seals-Jones today. And it's a tough take, but it's something you got to do to protect yourself there. Laser Boone wants to know PPR flex, Zach Pascal, Quez Watkins, who's a favorite dartboard throw of mine this week, Van Jefferson, Russell Gage, Khalif Raymond, or your guy, Cole Kmet.
So for me, that group boils down to Pascal versus Watkins with Paris Campbell and T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton's out, correct?
Yeah. I don't. Was he out? I missed if he was out, but you're dealing with the Pineapple Express, right? So.
That's that game too. Yeah.
T.Y. Hilton is out. Yes, he is out. So he would be the number 1 receiver today. Pascal would be, or outside of Pittman, the number 2 guy. But you're dealing with all that weather. So you got Quez Watkins or maybe Cole Kmet is your decision here.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go Kmet. What do you think, John? Would you go Pascal or Quez?
I would go Quez. Quez's snap share, 77 and 83% the last 2 weeks, and he's actually out-targeted Jalen Reagor these last 3 weeks as well. Now, Dallas Goedert's going to be back this week. Who knows how that's going to really impact? I mean, they did have Zach Ertz, so it's not like there wasn't a pass catching tight end available in this offense to be featured, but Goddard's going to be back today. But I like Quez, downfield guy, big catch play. He ran a 4.3 640. So kind of hoping that you see Hurts just chucking it downfield to him today against the Raiders.
You got to remember that this game tonight, the rain game, it's not only supposed to be heavy rain, but it's supposed to also be the windiest game, like 16 miles an hour winds, which at that point it does affect the way you throw the ball.
Yeah, 100% too. So you say 60, 6-0?
16 though, 16.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
but it's like
you definitely can't throw the football in 6-0 for sure.
Think about rain in Tampa Bay when it's 85 degrees, you know what I mean, and the winds only blowing like 6 miles an hour versus rain in San Francisco where it's pouring and it's cold. It's it's like 60 degrees and the 17 mile an hour wind. That's two very different things.
100% there. Standard league, we have Marquez Callaway or Robbie, all targets, no catches, Anderson.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man, because it's hard to really trust Callaway either. But I
do like that Dante Harris is out today for the Saints. So like, again, you're right. It's tough to trust any receiver there right now with the Saints, but they are coming out of a bye, and Callaway is at least in theory the number one target for them. Coming into today's game against Seattle, as we know their secondary is trash.
But Terrace Marshall's also out with a concussion for the Panthers.
Right.
So
well, yeah. Listen, Robbie Anderson's targets are insane. He has 29 over the last 3. He's just not catching the football. So if he gets that target share again today, I mean, you would hope he'd be able to convert. So it's a standard league too. So you're going for touchdowns. So you like Anderson here against the Giants more than Callaway against the Seahawks?
So in my rankings, I do have Anderson ahead just because the way I've been thinking about it is Terrace Marshall's out. DJ Moore is going to get James Bradbury. I mean, I just don't see where the ball is going to go if it doesn't go to Robbie Anderson.
Right.
So for me, I think that's the direction I'm leaning there.
Okay. Roddy wants to know PPR flex, Michael Carter or Rashad Bateman?
Ooh, that is a spicy one. I think teams have been able to run against our Patriots, John. But Bateman's gotten a surprising snap share. Sammy Watkins out again. That one's very close for me. I think that I typically lean towards the running back, though. So I think I'd personally go Michael Carter. I don't know about you.
Carter does get the PPR boost as well. He does catch passes for them. And we're expecting the Patriots to actually, maybe win this game one, Coop. Hey, get back on the board with a W this week. So, yeah, Carter's fine. I mean, what I hate, he's getting the carry volume, which is what people like to point to. Like, he's leading the team in rushing. It's like, yeah, but he's running for 2.5 yards a carry. So, like, it's, you really need him to add in those PPR value. I've been a big Rashad Bateman guy, going into the offseason. I liked him in the preseason. Then he gets hurt, unfortunately. But like you said, came back in, played 65% of the offensive snaps, and was tied for the team lead in targets. So, there's certainly a potential against Cincinnati today, especially with no Latavius Murray. If their ground game isn't really getting it going with Freeman and Le'Veon Bell, that they throw a little bit more in this one. So, I guess you go with the lead running back here, but Bateman is definitely appealing, Roddy. So,
yeah.
I think we're a little split, but we're leaning to the Carter side.
Right. Yeah. Maybe look at your matchup, and if you're really getting killed with bye weeks and you're a big time underdog, then go with the upside play with Bateman. But if you're in the opposite side and your opponent is just scrapping together a team and you're the favorite, then Michael Carter is probably the safer play.
Yeah, I agree with you there. More guaranteed points likely going with Carter for sure. Seagard wants to know, are we benching Niners Colts players? He's got Debo and Pittman. He wants to know if he's playing one of them in favor of Bateman, Hardman, Rieger.
So for me, Debo is just too appealing. He's been playing too well for me to bench for that group on the bottom. If you wanted to maybe start Bateman over Pittman, if that is the kind of decision you were looking at, then I would potentially consider that. But I'm starting Debo. So I'm definitely ranking Debo 1 out of that group. But maybe.
I'm with you. Debo for sure. I mean, the target share has been insane. I actually like that Jimmy Garoppolo is back at quarterback for his value as well. While I think Trey Lance certainly can be exciting, he's not quite there yet for me. And we saw the production of the offense really kind of stifle a little bit. So Big Daddy Lewis wants to know, half PPR, are you playing Ramondre Stevenson or Damian Williams?
That's That's a tricky one, but I think I'm actually going to start Ramondre Stevenson simply because,
It's weird, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird that it's like he has clawed some of that pass work, some of that James White work away from Brandon Bolden. Brandon Bolden let up a sack in week 5. And Stevenson looked good out there for his size. He looked quick. With Damian Williams, man, the Buccaneers are just a brutal matchup for
I'll say this one thing about Damian Williams is that running the football against Tampa Bay, probably not a good idea. But Khalil Herbert doesn't catch the football, and Damian Williams does. So, if there's any sort of PPR potential, it's going to come with Damian Williams there. You need Stevenson, in my opinion, to find the end zone today. I expect Damian Williams probably to see a higher snap share.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also the Jets. It's like, so I mean that one is tough. I don't know, John. What do you think in the end?
I'm going to go Damian Williams today. I think he gets the PPR work in this game. So go here. Stevenson's just so touchdown dependent for me right now. That's the range I'm gonna go. I hope it turns though. I think he could be a nice upside play later on. But play Williams today. PPR, would you play Ingram? I guess we're going Mark Ingram or Alex Collins. Collins did get the green light by Pete Carroll, but they also activated Penny. So Mark Ingram or Alex Collins today?
I would go Alex Collins. The thing about Mark Ingram is that he if you look at the games where he's actually done anything, it's when there's any bit of positive game script, right? So the Jaguars game and then maybe the very beginning of games, but they switch over to David Johnson for pass games. I think they're 17-point underdogs this weekend or something crazy. So go Alex Collins. He is, it could be a game that David Johnson's out there pretty much every snap.
Yeah, I don't see Collins completely getting wiped off with Penny. And how many times has Penny played and got hurt right away? So Collins is where I'm leaning here as well. I need 2 in a PPR: Damian Williams, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins. Then Shepard probably won't go. We don't know if he'll go or not. It's pregame warm-up, so pay attention.
Yeah, I'm starting both the wide receivers in that event.
Yep.
You're starting Damian Williams hoping that he catches passes. It's like you got 2 guys that already catch passes.
Right. Waddle's probably one of the top plays of the day. So with no Parker today going up against Atlanta, you're probably going to see a lot of Waddle. So
and here's what we're talking about with the 49 with the Tampa Bay is that they're only letting up like 58 rush yards a game, I believe, and no other team. I think there's one other team that's letting up 79, and no other team is below 80.
Yeah, the Bills were right up there until last week when Henry, did Henry things, but they were the other team that was letting up, 0. They were the number 1 ranked DVOA team against the run until last week. So
so it's just not a good matchup for Herbert or Damian Williams.
No, not at all. If we're going defenses here, do you play the Colts in what's supposed to be that weather system there, or do you go Las Vegas?
And Vegas has the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I think Indy probably is the move, right? It's definitely the over-under for that game is now like 40 points. So, if your league is one where there's like big penalties for letting up points, I mean, that's going to be a safe play there. They're probably not going to hit that threshold of 20 plus points where you're getting negatives, So I think Indy's probably safer.
Yeah, plus you have one of the biggest issues for the Colts this year has been their secondary, but if they're they actually currently rank now number 1 in DVOA defense against the run. The Colts do. So I mean, like, if they're not going to be able to throw the football because the Colts rank 29th against the pass, and now they're number 1 against the run, and San Francisco can only run the football, you would think that this is probably a good time to play the Colts in that one for sure. So go in that direction. Play Indy today against instead of Las Vegas. Need 2 in a PPR: Chase Edmonds, Allen Robinson, Julio Jones, who I think is questionable, right? Or in Devontae Booker.
Yeah, Julio's a little banged up. I'm definitely starting Booker. That's the guy that I just like his usage. I like the snap share that he gets. He's not splitting with anybody. He's getting the whole deal. So with him, you get a lot of safety in that situation. There's not a lot of situations where the backup comes in and gets that. So I'm interested there. A-Rob is banged up too, right?
Yep, questionable to play today with an ankle.
Yeah, I mean, out of those other 3 guys, who do you lean on, John? I don't know if I can do Edmonds, man.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. It's like, they're going to be up big, right? So it's, he's not going to be the one that grinds down the clock. It's probably going to be James Conner. So, but you need 2. you want to play Julio if he's active. So, like, this is where you're standing on this question, Johnny. You need to know who's active, right? You're not going to know you're not going to know Robinson before the 1:00 games start. But I think the Robinson Edmonds are 4 p.m. right? So.
Mm-hmm.
So if Julio plays, you'll play Julio. You're definitely playing Booker. And then if Julio doesn't play, you figure out which of Edmonds and Robinson to play. So that's how I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
I would maybe leave a flex spot open to make that decision easier for you. You're definitely playing Booker. How do you rank Julio, A-Rob, Edmonds?
Yeah, I like, so if they come out and Julio is playing, then I like that matchup just because that's that 57.5 over-under game. You know what I mean? Where those are the games where, when Vegas says that, it doesn't always go to 57 points, but it definitely goes to, at least like 50, and that we're talking, or, at least 40. It's like, that's 20 points from each team, really. So I think that Julio is a very safe play if he's healthy. So I would go Julio Booker and just have it in there. And then if Julio is not looking good or sounding good, do what John said and just have Edmonds in your back pocket, A-Rob ready to go. Like, it actually works out really well timing wise for you. It could be way worse, It
could be way worse for sure. Need 2 in a PPR: Sony Michel, Ramondre Stevenson, Devontae Booker, and Darius Slayton. If that doesn't say running back injury and bye weeks to you, Coop, I don't know what else does.
That's
Slayton
it.
for sure for me, and then it's just Booker, Stevenson, or Michel. Probably Booker, right?
I'm starting Booker. Yeah. I mean, like, the way I look at it, it's like you got to think about these guys in terms of situations. You know what I mean? There's basically 4 situations for a running back. There's first down, passing down, and then there's 2-minute drill when you're losing and end of the game when you're running clock. And like Booker is in line for all that work. You know what I mean? Like, if there's a pass interference in the end zone in one of these games, we don't even know if it's going to be Sony Michel or Ramondre Stevenson that goes down and gets that 1-yard touchdown. With Booker, right, we know for a fact it will be. It's if at the end of the game and it's the Rams are losing somehow, it's not going to be Sony Michel. It's like, so I'm going with the guy who's getting the guaranteed work.
Yep, I'm with you. there. You really need Michel to get a garbage time, or if they get into a lead and find the end zone, definitely for that spot. I need 2 wide receivers, 1 point every 5 receptions. All right. Everybody makes things complicated sometimes. DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, Jalen Waddle, Michael Pittman, Sterling Shepard. I think this one only need 2. Yeah, I think it's a decision between the first 3. Moore, yes, Ridley, and Waddle.
Yep, White, Pittman, is Sterling off the board. I mean, because you don't have to deal with it. With this group of players, you don't have to even think about the rain or the injury or any of that stuff. So I'm starting. I think I would start Calvin Ridley and Jalen Waddle, because I mean, I love Moore and he's supposed to be such a rock solid player, but at the same time, James Bradbury is a problem. You know what I mean? And I think you're going to see a lot of Bradbury on Moore. And you have a luxury to start 2 guys in Ridley and Waddle that are clearly the top targets on their team and don't particularly have bad matchups. So that's the direction I'd go. I mean, what do you think? It's hard to sit Moore, but.
Yeah, it's hard to sit Moore, but we've seen, we've seen Darnold really struggle lately, and then Matt Rule comes out and says he wants to establish the run a little bit more. So I think Moore's going to get the volume because he's still like the number 1 receiver on that offense. But I really like the Ridley Waddle matchup today. I think that game, you have the Falcons coming out of a bye. Ridley's actually in the Contrarian Corner video this week as well. It's cheapest price all week all season on DraftKings. So go Ridley Waddle for me. The volume should be there for both. PPR, Khalil Herbert or Sony Michel?
Khalil Herbert or Sony Michel? Goodness gracious. Well, I think you got to go Sony Michel. I mean, that's the Lions this week, right? Like Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, the Lions this week.
Khalil Herbert is as John said earlier, he's the running half of a offense that is going up against a team where you can't run. So, I'd actually rather just go Michel and just hope that the Rams are beating up on the Lions so badly that they're just kind of like, let's get everybody carry. It's one of those games where it's like they run it 30 times and, it's like 15, 10, 5. Because, with Khalil Herbert, it's not a good spot, Yeah,
exactly. It's a struggle. It's going to be a split game, but they're not going to be in the lead in this one. So I just don't see exactly where that production is going to end up coming from. So Next question that we have on the board here. He needs one from Naeem Hines, Le'Veon Bell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, or Ricky Seals, but is a tight end premium. So it gives a boost to Ricky Seals-Jones.
Yeah, I do like Ricky Seals-Jones in that situation because none of the other guys really have guaranteed touches that you would say, okay, well, this guy, the running backs, a lot of times you go with those guys because you're like, okay, I guarantee he gets the ball 10 times. You can't necessarily guarantee that with Hines and Lev Bell, right? So, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown's a guy that plays a lot of slot, comes out for 2 wide receiver sets. I mean, Ricky Seals-Jones plays slot. He plays pretty much all his snaps in the slot because he's in that Logan Thomas role. So I'd rather just start the slot receiver that's getting a point and a half instead of a point.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with you there. Next question that we have, if Shepard is out, do you pick up Renfro, Robbie Anderson, St. Brown, Hardman, or Van Jefferson? So I'm out on Van Jefferson. Question really is Renfro, Anderson, St. Brown, or Hardman?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I already kind of laid out why I do like Anderson. It's kind of like a target funnel situation. Terrace Marshall's out on one side with a concussion. DJ Moore's getting robbed. DJ Moore's probably going to get a heavy dose of James Bradbury. So Robbie Anderson kind of is forced into guaranteed targets there. Though, I mean, Renfro has been fairly consistent. St. Brown, again, I don't like the
birthday narrative for St. Brown today.
Oh, man. The birthday narrative.
I'm just throwing it out there. Birthday narrative.
Yeah, I mean, the other problem for St. Brown, which is a huge problem, is that Jalen Ramsey's been playing a ton of snaps in the slot this year. They've been putting him in there. So it's
Did they move St. Brown to the outside? I know you looked at these numbers a couple weeks ago.
So that was the hope, right? Is that week 5, he played 17 snaps out wide, the game that Quintez Cephas got hurt. But last week what happened is they decided to use Khalif Raymond and Kaderil Hodge on the outside. He only played 4 snaps out wide. So they really were only doing that for the one game when they didn't have anybody ready to go. They want him to just play slot.
Yeah, it makes sense there. And so which one are you going with here?
I'm going with Robbie Anderson. That's who
Robbie Anderson. Okay. Right. Yeah. I think Robbie Anderson for the target volume is a good spot. Hardman's been a little bit appealing though. I mean, they actually have been throwing him the ball a little bit more lately. This is a game against a bad Tennessee defense that just allowed all 3 receivers in Buffalo to go off against them last week. Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, and Stephon Diggs all had huge games. So
I'll put an asterisk on that. Big Daddy Lewis. If you watch, definitely tune into the pregame warmups for that Kansas City Tennessee game. Tyreek does have a quadricep injury, and there are some times where they go out, they do the warm up, and they just say, "I can't go." So if you hear anything like that, not even just that he's not playing, but that he's out there and he's limping or it doesn't look good, then I mean Hardman is kind of the next man up for sure behind Hill.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one there. Let me ask you one question that we got going on. It's Slayton or Bateman is the next one. Again, Darius Slayton probably going to be the number 1 receiver today. Bateman, we know, coming back and playing a big snap share last week in his first game.
Yeah, I think I like Slayton. I like the guaranteedness of Slayton because I know we saw a big snap share from Bateman, but we've also seen times where the Ravens will use multiple tight ends. They will use a fullback, and every time you bring one of those guys in the field, it takes a wide receiver off the field. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Nick Boyle might be back today. So he returned to practice. I mean, he returned to practice 3 days ago. They said he looked good. So think about these situations where it's like if they run a play that has Mark Andrews, Nick Boyle, and Patrick Ricard on the field, with the quarterback and the lineman, that's 10 players. So they have to choose between Hollywood Brown or Rashad Bateman. So there could be, and when Sammy gets back, there's going to be a snap crunch there in general. I think Slayton plays the entire game. So that's what I want.
What is your take here? If Shepard is out, we saw Dante Pettis get 62% of the snaps and 11 targets last week. Would Dante Pettis be somebody that you would at all consider today if that situation stays the same? I
think that's the kind of guy that I love to play in DFS, and I'm terrible. I'm like terrified of playing in a managed, right? Like that's a guy where it's like you get real cute with DFS and feel good about that. But, so if you're looking for a place to play Dante Pettis, go over to Yahoo Fantasy, use promo code ALARM, deposit $25. They'll match your $25 and they give you access to our NFL DFS Playbook Pro, which is a $200 value, and you get it basically for free because you're depositing 25. They're giving you 25. You're just playing DFS like you always do. So
yep, we're getting some inactives here. Ramondre Stevenson is inactive today, Coop.
All right. Well, every Ramondre Stevenson question we've discussed, you can just rule that out. I don't think there was one situation where we did.
No, but I guess that means Brandon Bolden, Damian. All systems go Damian Harris today. Then I mean, there's gonna be no touchdown. There's going to be no touchdown, I guess, vulturing coming from Stevenson today. So, go ahead with Damian Harris. Sterling Shepard also out today. So we just talked about the Dante Pettis thing. Again, maybe he is in the lineup, but for sure Slayton is there. Tevin Coleman also inactive today. So if you like Michael Carter or Ty Johnson, those are two guys that are you can probably go ahead and lean on. And then Devontae Parker is also out today. He had a questionable chance to play anyways today. So,
So I'm thinking that's Evan Ingram boost, Mike Gesicki boost. I pulled it up. Dante Pettis played. So he only played 46 of the 75 snaps, but he ran routes on 42 of those 46 plays. Yeah. So they just were like, this guy is, they put him out there for every pass play pretty much, and they rolled with him. So definitely a DFS option there.
Yeah, I was kind of looking for some darts today, and maybe Dante Pettis is now entering the fray when it comes to that. So let's just get back up here to some of the questions that we had. We did Slayton Bateman. If you're correct on Kmet over Brait Howard, I'm opening my bottle of Little Book tonight.
Dude,
I'll send you a couple.
That's crazy that the money tastes bad. Listen how crazy this is. John and I actually, because we're both from this area, he drove down an hour. We actually went out to dinner, and we're at the restaurant, and I'm like, oh man, they have Little Book here, which I've actually never had. So I asked them, I was like, how much is it for a 1.5 ounces, a dram of Little Book? And they said it was $52 a pour. Yeah. And I was like, I know it's an excellent bottle. I think, but it retails for like just a little over 100. Sometimes it'd be up to like 150, things like that. But I mean, $50 for a pour.
You were like, it's $25. I'll get it. And she's like, it's 52. You're like, never mind.
Yeah, man. So hey, I'm rooting for Kmet, dude. Cheers to that. So
yeah,
that's just funny. Of all the whiskeys out there, it's literally the one last night that I was asking about.
Yeah, that's true. 1 point PPR. Do you trust Julio's hammy over Mark Ingram, Zach Ertz, or Quez Watkins? He's got bye and IR issues.
Yeah, I mean, I do. So if Julio's playing, I'm starting him. If he's not, then I'll go with Quez Watkins because, we talked about Mark Ingram, why the game script is not good for him. Zach Ertz, then this is brutal because Zach Ertz had been on this team for even just like 2 or 3 weeks. This is the best tight end matchup there is. The Texans are the worst team versus the tight end, but he's only been on the team for a week. It's these NFL playbooks, even when you're a veteran, are very complex. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't think he's going to play a full snap share. They don't even need him to because it's, they're 17-point favorites and they're playing, they have all these wide receivers that do know the plays. So I just don't think he plays enough.
D-Hop will get his 2 touchdowns and then they'll run the football the rest of the game. So probably a way to go here. Would you play Quez Watkins or Dante Pettis?
I would play Quez Watkins. It's because the thing is, it's like,
because I know Pettis is probably sitting on everybody's waiver wire right now. So,
Colin Johnson also played a big snap share. I mean, I think I like Pettis better than Johnson. I mean,
I'm just looking at targets. I mean, target wise, 11 targets is hard to ignore. Right? And how long have we been trying to make Dante Pettis a thing?
I know, man. That's brutal. What do the 49ers just have these like promising guys that flash and then they just, something happens in the clubhouse and they just fall apart. Like it's Brandon Ayuk is the new Dante Pettis, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, it feels that way. I just got word that our full inactives are in, so I'm going to head over there right now, Coop, real quick. While we're doing that, I'll give you one more question to hammer over here. Half PPR. Jacoby Myers, Corey Davis, and then at quarterback they need Tua or Tannehill. So,
all right. So Jacoby Myers is like so locked in terms of targets that I'm I'm going Myers, even in standard. I know he's never scored a touchdown, but I mean, last week he did technically catch a 25-yard touchdown. There was holding on the backside of the play that didn't affect the play, and it got called back, which is brutal for him. So I'm going Myers over Corey Davis. He's just so safe, and he's one of the guys. One of the big indicators that I love looking at is the ability to get targeted and beat your guy in man-to-man. He's actually up there with guys like I'm not even kidding, like Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, like this guy is good versus man-to-man. So I think this is a good spot for him today. And then I'm going with Ryan Tannehill for all the reasons we talked about earlier. This is a huge over-under game. There's going to be a ton of points scored. Tua hasn't looked great, and now he doesn't have Devontae Parker. So it's still the same offense where it's like Waddle and just Waddle and Gesicki and then whoever, Mac Hollins, whoever else they throw out there. It's like maybe hang on to Tua for when they get Fuller and Parker back, and that offense could be something special. But right now they're kind of hurting.
Yeah, I'm looking through the inactives right now, seeing if any bigger names jump out. We already know Sammy Watkins, Latavius Murray are out. Curtis Samuel we knew was going to be out of this one. Dante Hightower's out for our Patriots. Maybe that one's a little bit potentially surprising, but he's kind of looked a little bit washed this season. Let's see. We knew Terrence Marshall, as you mentioned, wasn't going to be active. Shepard, Galladay, Barkley, Kadarius Toney all out for the Giants. That's what we got at least so far in terms of maybe fantasy impact. So nothing we didn't really know.
I just posted a link, everybody out there, to our the inactives page on fantasyalarm.com. Like, I love the way this is set up. It's my favorite because it's so hard to find this info that just having it all on one screen, just each team, and it says bing bang boom boom inactive. It's the best. So
I will say from our producer myself messaging me that the Titans defense is pretty banged up today. Chris Jackson, Amani Hooker, Monty Rice, John Simon all ruled out for today. So if you're
and
You're worried about the Chiefs offense, but if you're looking for even more of a reason, maybe to bet the over 57, that would be certainly a reason. Now, Julio Jones is not on the inactive list, by the way. So at least for now, Julio's a go.
And it looks like Chester Rogers is inactive, which I did not realize he was even banged up. So that's just another situation where, if Julio is a very late scratch, is there anyone that interests you there, John? Josh Reynolds, maybe, as the guy that goes in to play split end? Nick Westbrook,
maybe.
Akine?
Yeah, probably Akine, right? He would probably be a guy that you would take a look at.
I think so. I mean,
they're just going to try to run the football anyways, I think, to keep Mahomes off the field. But having a full accompaniment of their offensive weapons is good to know.
Cool.
Let's see. We got other matchups here. Just removed my spot that we had. There we go. Need only one. Wait, nope. That was.
We're on Lebo. We're on Lebo's
we're on Lebo. Here we go. Damian Williams or Jamal Williams. Worried about Damian's workload after no practices in the matchup.
Yeah. So the problem with Jamal Williams is that he's actually it went from being a split down the middle to he's actually kind of ceded all of that pass work. Jamal Williams only played 14 pass plays last week, while DeAndre Swift played 35. So, and you're going against the Rams, but then again, Damian Williams has a terrible matchup too. I don't know, John. What do you think about that situation?
I'm probably gonna go Damian Williams. I think he's gonna catch the football in this matchup. Where Jamal, like you said, he's been injured and he's been losing snap share. So I don't see a game in which the Lions are going to be down 3 touchdowns. They're just going to go trot out an injured Jamal Williams, right? It would be the 4th running back on their team instead, likely getting the garbage time work. So give me Damian. I know it's not a perfect situation, but that's where I would go. Half PPR, Miles Sanders or Alex Collins?
Yeah, so I'm going Miles Sanders here. I know.
I wish they would give him the football, Coop. I wish they would just give him the football.
But so this is something that we knew about going in. I mean, it's been mathematically shown that that mobile quarterbacks just do not target the running back more. It's also been mathematically shown that even in standard, a reception is more valuable than a handoff, right? That's why we talk about these pass snaps. That's why we talk about all, these matchups like this. Even so, I just trust Miles Sanders to be the back there that's getting the passes and getting the runs. Kenneth Gainwell kind of poked his head out, but he really hasn't been capturing a huge number of those snaps. So I still prefer Miles Sanders to Alex Collins, especially with Collins being banged up and Penny being back. It's not as good as the situation as it was last week.
Yeah, I'm with you there as well. And again, I'm just a big Miles Sanders guy, anyways. I mean, listen, once they actually gave him the football last week against Tampa Bay, he moved them downfield. A defense you think you're not supposed to be able to run against, Miles Sanders was doing the job. So another game where he averaged over 6 yards a carry because he's a good running back. He's just in a bad system or the quarterback. I don't know.
Right. On paper, all 3 years, 4.6 yards a carry, 5.3 yards a carry, 4.7 yards a carry. And the targets are good. The catch rate's good. I don't know, man. It's just when you have that mobile quarterback, he doesn't dump down the way Drew Brees looks at the running back and says, "Let's get this guy the ball because he's the superior athlete." Jalen Hurts looks at him and says, "Go block somebody." They
run the RPO and he's never handing it off. He's just taking it himself.
Right.
Carr or Matt Ryan?
Ooh. John, you're the quarterback whisperer, man. You take this one.
I'm gonna go Matt Ryan this week. Coming off a bye, going against Miami, I think that's probably the direction I'm going to take this one. So I like what they got going on in there. I like what they have for the ability of their passing game with Pitts and Ridley and even Patterson out of the backfield. I think this is a good spot for Ryan to come through for us. PPR flex, St. Brown, Quez Watkins, Pascal, or Herbert.
St. Brown, I think we like Quez here. Yeah, because I would go Pascal if there wasn't like anytime a weather system has a name, like this one's called the Pineapple Express, right? If it's some sort of like Ice Mageddon or whatever they start calling things, anytime a weather system has a name, it concerns me. So I would, if we were in a dome, if these were all dome games, I might go Pascal, but I'm going Quez Watkins.
Yeah, I'm with you there. As well, he's just somebody that I have, I've kind of talked myself into a little bit. So I think that's the direction that I'm going to take this one as well.
Beat writers like him. When he finally got more snaps than Jalen Reagor in the game for the first time, I checked out all the news headlines, and literally all the beat writers and all the articles were like, finally. That's what they were saying. They were like, they finally gave him more snaps than Reagor. So it sounds like they're either really out on Reagor because he's been kind of a bust as a first-round pick, or they really like Quez Watkins. So,
yep, no, totally. We have the next question here that we're taking a look at. Rank the following. These are quarterback questions, so maybe I'll just take this one. We have Carr, Matt Ryan, Sam Darnold, Tua, and Jameis Winston. I'm going to go actually Tua, Ryan, Winston, Carr, Darnold is how I think I would rank that. So might taste bad. I'm going Tua as my number one. Going to go Ryan as my number two. Go Winston, Carr, and Darnold for you there. Rowdy needs one from Herbert, Anderson, or Crowder. He's already starting Corey Davis.
Well, if you're already starting Corey Davis, I don't think you want to be loading up on Jets players pretty much ever, but especially in a game that's supposed to be a low-scoring affair on the road in New England, down, 7-point dogs. The over-under for this game is like 42.5, which doesn't get that much. It doesn't really go under 40 ever in these games. Every once in a while it does when there's, I think, last year there was like the Kendall Hinton Saints game, but like I don't think there's been any games this season so far where it's been under 40. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, John. But so that's about as bad of a matchup as you're going to get. So I would probably go Corey Davis and Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, I'm with you there as well. If we're going down, again, trying to run through these before we run out of the time, we got Slayton or RSJ and a tight end premium.
We do like Slayton this week, but with tight end premium, I think I would like RSJ. And, that's one where Slayton is just a fun play today. If you could throw him in a DFS lineup and hedge your bets, I'd go that way. But, John, would you go Slayton over RSJ? It's close.
Yeah, I think I am. I think I would go Slayton over RSJ.
If it wasn't tight end premium, it would be easy decision with Slayton. And I think actually with Shepard and Galladay and everyone out, and John Ross also out, I would go. I think Slayton is probably the safer play then, even in tight end premium. But it's close.
Yeah, I'm with you there as well. Let me see here. I'm trying to think like the tight end, because it's a game environment where they're supposed to throw, but it's just it's not a good matchup for him. So
it is a bad matchup. But that's the Devondre Campbell matchup where we talked about how 3 years in a row now he did it for the Falcons, he did it for the Cardinals, and now he's the number one rated linebacker in the league per PFF on the Packers. This guy's a hired gun tight end killer.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Next question: we have Darrell Williams or Antonio Gibson.
I mean, at this point, in a game like this, Darrell Williams for me is pretty close to being a top 10 back, or like he's in that RB1 range in a week with this many bye weeks. You got no Zeke, no Eckler, no Dalvin Cook. I mean, I have Darrell Williams practically at ranked RB1, really. And Antonio Gibson, he's got the shin, he's got the JD McKissick. I like Darrell.
Yeah, Darrell's probably the guy for me as well. I mean, he didn't run the ball well last week, only 3 yards per carry, but 2 touchdowns because this offense is going to put up points. So, and he didn't get any of the we were wondering if Jerick McKinnon was going to be involved, and it wasn't the case. So he was just out there. So, full point PPR, we got Cordural, Patterson, or Mike Davis. This is a Patterson play for me.
Yeah, me too. Patterson just looked better, flat out better. When they're starting to get the same plays, right? Like Patterson's getting runs up the middle.
They're realizing they're like, oh, Cordural should be on the field more because he's more explosive out of both the running back and the receiver position than Mike Davis. So, who knew in the year 2021, Cordural Patterson as a running back would actually finally be working for a team?
It happens like that sometimes, man. This is a crazy game. I mean, remember when I forget who it was for the Saints. The guy literally was out of the league for like 3 years, and they had a bunch of injuries, and he came out and won everyone a bunch of leagues. It was like Tim
Hightower.
Tim Hightower. It's like
I had him on my team. I picked him up and rode him to the championship that year. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. This guy. Yeah. Here's another one. This guy, as a rookie, incorrectly labeled a tight end on Yahoo, was the tight end 1 overall. Marquez Colston played 2 snaps at tight end on the season. So, it's fantasy's crazy like that. You got to go with Cordural Patterson, even if your brain is telling you that it's not right.
Yeah, man, those flashbacks to the Tim Hightower train that I rode there at the end of that season. Rashad Bateman, Robbie Anderson, a full PPR.
Wow, man. So we've talked ourselves. Ray Hunt's probably got the toughest question of the day, in my opinion, because we've talked ourselves into Robbie Anderson, but Rashad Bateman has that tantalizing upside, and they have the confidence in him. And I think that's the big thing for me, because I spent all week saying the Ravens don't do this. They don't use rookies. They use a ton of substitution. And then they went out and just gave him a full snap share. So I think I would actually go Bateman. He's the more fun play. And at a certain point, obviously we want to win, but like he's got crazy upside as a first round pick that's now getting a full snap share on an offense that is pretty good.
Yeah, I like Bateman, but I'm gonna flip with you. I'm gonna go Robbie Anderson. It's hard to make it difficult for you, right? It's just the targets, man. I mean, so many targets to Robbie Anderson that eventually, they're gonna give him some stickum. What was the replacements character there?
With the stuck together. Yeah, I mean, and then you gotta, if you've been listening for this whole stream, we talked at length at why we do like Robbie Anderson, especially this week with Terrace Marshall out, James Bradbury taken away, DJ Moore. So you can't go wrong with either of those guys. Robbie Anderson is a much safer play for sure.
In DFS, I've actually played Bateman because he's $3,400, but I think Anderson, he just has a little bit of a higher floor just for the target share. So I'm gonna go Anderson in this one. Big Daddy Lewis, another question here: half PPR flex, need one. Sanders, Miles Sanders, Michael Carter, Hunter Renfrow, or Damian Williams?
Yeah, I still like Miles Sanders in that situation because Michael Carter's workload isn't fully guaranteed. Now we saw him for the first time yet this season get the most pass snaps and the most run snaps last week, but Ty Johnson still gets a bunch of pass snaps, and he's kind of lurking there. He plays more. Ty Johnson plays more than Kenneth Gainwell does, so right. I like Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I'm going to go Miles Sanders here as well. PPR need 2, Russell Gage, Dante Pettis. We know it ain't Robert Tonyan. So is it you're playing Russell Gage and Dante Pettis, I guess, this week? Because unless you're finally on a Tonyan train, but it doesn't seem like it.
No, I mean, why now? If I wasn't all last year, then why all of a sudden now would I be? It's not. Tonyan has always been touchdown dependent, and almost all of his scoring really came either just off one touchdown or in that 3 touchdown game versus the Falcons last year. And now we're seeing the situation. So definitely the first 2 guys.
I wonder how Robert Tonyan's tape is looking this season. that guy that was trolling you on Twitter there. I'd like to go revisit that conversation.
I don't I don't go back and do those. Sometimes I'll go back and apologize to people. I just did that last week with Ramondre Stevenson. I told a guy, I was like, no way does he get that work from Brandon Bolden, and he did. So I went back.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, nice take, man. You know,
Yeah, I was wrong. You're right, but you were dead on right with Robert Tonyan this year. So Sam Darnold, Carson Wentz, Jameis Winston. Coop, you got a lean? I guess you can't go Wentz because of the rain.
Yeah,
so
you can't,
Darnold or Winston here.
I lean towards Sam Darnold. Winston, I just don't love what they're doing over there. And on top of that, like, there's no other quarterback that has the threat of a timeshare, which is real with
Taysom Hill's out.
Oh, he's out?
Yep.
Interesting. Okay, well then, then I think that because it's like you want to have when you think about your quarterback, you want to have that in your back pocket that he can score a touchdown on a QB sneak, which is just not going to happen with Hill there. So I don't know. What do you think, John?
I'm going to go Jameis. I'm going Jameis against Seattle. They're coming off a bye. So you still have Alvin Kamara. I know Sam Darnold has the more appealing weapons, but he has been so bad. And just I can't get the Matt Rule comment like, I want to establish the run against a little bit more. Now they're going up against the 28th ranked run defense, allowing 137 rushing yards per game, and the Giants. I think Rule's looking at Darnold being like, all right, this maybe isn't the guy, and we're going to try to run the football to protect the team a little bit. So
how do you know he's not saying that he wants to establish the run with Sam Darnold, who has 5 rushing touchdowns this year, and it's a 4-point passing league too?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go Winston though. I'm leaning Winston.
Okay. Yeah.
Edmund Sanders or Darrell Williams on a full PPR?
So this matchup, we touched on this earlier. This matchup is not a good matchup for a pass catching back playing a team that you're going to just blow out. You know what I mean? It's the Texans. So I like Miles Sanders. I like Darrell Williams of that group. If you're just starting one, I like Darrell Williams in this matchup where a ton of points are going to be scored, and the Titans aren't necessarily a team that you can't run on, So I have Darrell, then Sanders, then Edmonds. John, do you have Sanders over Darrell, or where are you at on that?
No, I'm going to play Darrell over Sanders this week. He's going to be in a better position, I think, to score. So, it's just the way I'm going. I think we saw it last week. The volume was there. He still catches the football, and hearing that the Titans are missing, half their defensive front seven, also makes me think that maybe Williams will be in a good spot to go there. Money Days Bad wants to know what Damian Williams is on his IR. He has to move him out to make the lineup change. I have to drop someone to do that. Do I drop Damian Williams, Bateman, Gaskins, or Herbert? Probably Herbert. Right? I mean, if you're going to play Damian Williams, it's because you're not playing.
Right.
And Williams wasn't hurt. He was just he had the COVID. So
yeah, I'm not trading.
How do you feel about Gaskins? I mean, Gaskins has been so bad.
So bad, and it's like even the thing is he had that big game, and then if you went out, so you weren't starting him for that big game because you kind of couldn't, and then after he had it, a bunch of people went out and started him, and then he did terrible. Right. So it's
my problem is that eventually Montgomery's gonna be back in like 2 weeks, and then Herbert's useless again. So
so is Damian Williams. So I would definitely keep Bateman, and you can kind of do whatever you want with the rest of those guys, honestly. But you drop.
Yeah, it's probably drop Gaskins.
Probably drop Gaskins, yeah. Because after this week, we should know which of Damian Williams or Herbert is the guy you're going to want more in the meantime till Monty gets back. So it's you should be able to drop one of those guys too to make your moves moving forward. So I just like cleaning up the roster that way.
Works perfectly into our next question, which is half-point PPR Gaskins or Herbert. I am going to go Gaskins against Atlanta because I don't think Herbert's going to be in a position game flow-wise to do much in this one.
Yep, I completely agree on that. We talked about that one. It's not – you don't run against the Bucs, So I like Gaskins better just based on the matchup. Like that's all. You don't really need to go beyond that with Herbert. Like Herbert is just – I'm avoiding it as much as I can this week.
We got 1 minute here. Let's go through. We have I've got Clear Herbert in. Q-High is out. Should I drop one to pick up Hardman or Callaway? So would you start Herbert or pick up Hardman or Rico Callaway or Marquez Callaway?
That's tough. So we're talking about a flex spot since you can start. Yep. Yeah. So I mean, I think I don't know if I can. I don't know.
I'm gonna
T.Y.'s
drop
tough.
Herbert and pick up Mecole Hardman. That's where
Yeah, Hardman's got a good matchup.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drop Herbert, start Mecole Hardman. Would you pick up Quez Watkins or Devonta Freeman for today? Stevenson's out or Crowder. I'm probably gonna go Devonta Freeman, truthfully.
Yeah. I mean, he looked pretty good last week. You know,
He did.
He was out there. He was out there for a ton of snaps, and now with Latavius out, he's actually probably the next in line. Like they
Yeah, I
clearly
mean, he should at least, I would think, get 10 to 12 carries, unless they just flip it on us, right, and give it to somebody else. But I'm feeling Freeman as the guy. I think a lot of people are feeling Freeman as the guy today. So Freeman over Watkins, as much as I do like Quez in general for DFS this week. So Goop, that's it. It's noon. 1 hour to roster lock. We'll still be in the Discord for everybody. Get us on Twitter for any of your questions. Any final thoughts when we send this one out?
Nope, that's it, man. I just hope you guys win, and we got the guys we're rooting for now. I'm about to go make a DFS lineup with like Quez Watkins, Dante Pettis, Cole Kmet, and just see if we can play the FA live stream chat and chat lineup and just dominate, you know. Or maybe it'll just be terrible. Who knows? But I mean, that's what happens when you got to scrap on a Pineapple Express rainstorm, bipocalypse, injury fest weekend, right? So
yeah. 100%. So good luck, everybody. Coop and I will be back with you guys next week.
Cheers.